Hi students, it's Ms.Boley here. I wanted to make a video to talk about art supplies. I have a suggestion. I think it would be really helpful to have your very own art kit or art box at home.
Wow! Wow! Wow!
Now, I'm not just talking about your typical art supplies. Some of us might have things like paper, visual journal, pencil crayons, markers, paint, and even more, which is awesome. But some of us might not, or we might not have that yet. I want you to be able to make art with the materials that you already have at home. In art, we talk a little bit about using found materials to make art. And not only will we be making two-dimensional art, like drawings, paintings, we'll hopefully be doing some building, sculpting, and constructing as well. And we can use found materials for this kind of thing. Here is what I propose. Get a box if you can, or a bag, and go around your house and start finding things that could be used in making art. If you find something, put it in the box. Be creative with it. The things that you include don't have to be your typical art or craft supplies. I suggest getting started with collecting some recycled materials. Recycled materials could be anything. It could be things like cardboard. I've tried to collect different thicknesses of cardboard. You can put that in my art box. I've collected some chopsticks from takeout and just some random pieces of plastic, some lids and some containers, some different sized containers, toilet paper rolls, boxes or egg cartons, lids. I found this roll from ribbon that I decided to keep. I keep a lot of recycled materials just for crafts and art, and a paper plate. And I would recommend saving some newspaper, maybe for a collage or even just to protect your workspace when you're working. I found some other types of paper like Post-it notes and just a thicker paper and some colored paper, and I'm going to just add that into my art kit. Oh, I found some craft paper, which is kind of like the paper that paper bags are made out of. I'll tuck that in there. I had some stamps and a stamp pad, some stencils, also found some craft feathers and pipe cleaners, and I found this roller. Thought it might be useful, and popsicle sticks. Another thing you might not have thought, but Lego, could use that for building or sculpting with, and Play-Doh, of course. And then for fabric supplies, I had some thread and some needles and more thread. You might have some of that at home, some scraps of fabric, some yarn. I found some brushes and a piece of chalk. And I also went outside and I found some natural materials. I found some sticks. And I do have popsicle sticks, but I think that if I were to use these like to paint with, these sticks, that they would make different marks in the popsicle sticks. And all of these would be really interesting to try to paint with, I think. So I'm going to save them for later. I found some rocks, which maybe I could use for building or stacking or observing, and a pine cone, possibly for drawing and observing, and some wonderful, more natural materials. I also found some leaves. This one is really dried up, so it should be fine if I keep it. But ones that are green like this, if you keep them, they might get moldy. So if you want to keep green leaves, you can put them in the fridge. And that is it for my art collection. Okay, so to review, some things that you might put in your art kit would be recycled materials, which are some things you might normally put in your recycling bin. Crafty supplies, things you might have bought from the store at one point for crafts or to play with, but you still have them lying around. Fabric or sewing stuff like thread, yarns, fabric scraps. Natural materials, so things that you might find outside. And you might want to look at your art supplies at home and just see what you have. So stuff like brushes or other paints, etc. And be creative. If there's some objects that you're like, these are really interesting and I'd like to make art with these, keep them in your art box. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go through your house and pull a whole bunch of things out if you don't want to, or if you have too many supplies to fit into one box. Another thing that you could do is you could take an inventory of what you have. So you're going to go through the same process, go through the different rooms in your house, and either write down or check off on the list that I've provided some of the items that you could use for your own kind of independent art making practice. And I'm definitely not saying that we need to go out and buy any of these materials for an art kit. I just want you to think about and look around for the materials that you have that could potentially be used for art making in your own home, and be prepared for when you might need them to be creative. Happy collecting, and thanks for watching.